Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you another horror movie review, and this time we're going to be talking about Redwood Massacre, Annihilation, again directed by David Ryan Keith, written by David Ryan Keith, and starring Danielle Harris, Damien Puckler, Gary Casper, Tevi Poe, John Campling.
Bloody Jacob.
Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
In terms of a plan, we fight.
The sexy, awesome, exclusive content.
And Bloody Jacob here. I have the Redwood Massacre Annihilation DVD here. Picked it up, of course, for Danielle Harris's sake. Now I haven't reviewed. Again, Happy Halloween, guys. Hope to still have another video out tonight. We'll see about that, though. It just depends. I plan to hopefully, rank my top 5, top 10 horror franchises, something like that. I at least wanted to get more horror reviews out for today, like the Leprechaun Origins and Returns video I just put out, and this one. So yeah, I never reviewed the first Redwood Massacre, which came out a good few years ago. I had watched it. I hadn't watched it before, but when I knew the Danielle Harris movie was coming out, I knew I had to watch it at some point just to get some maybe context for the killer or something like that. I may still review that one, like a QMR, like a multi-movie review video I do at some point. But that one was okay. I mean, it had some decent blood effects, an okay, if not an original killer. And the acting was alright in that one. It was a bit kind of bland and slow, though, for my taste. This one was a bit better. You can tell that in the years past, David Ryan Keith has become a bit better of a filmmaker. I do think this one looks nicer, from a just lighting standpoint and just how it's filmed. It's a bit. You can tell it's just a bit more finessed, I guess. And it does pick up a little bit after the first one, not too long. We do, reunite briefly with the lone survivor from the first movie, and then she's just sort of discarded. Hunters become hunted after a stranger obsessed with the Redwood Farm murders convinces bereaved family members to venture into the wilderness in hopes of proving the existence of the murderous, notorious burlap mask maniac. So yeah, that's a synopsis, not much more to it than that. Danielle Harris and, another character, play relatives of one of the victims in the first movie. Or, well, no, it might actually just be, they might just say they're related to the victim of this killer over the years that he's been active. I don't think that's necessarily a character we've seen in the first movie. Anyway. This movie was alright. I mean, I liked it fine. It was, pretty good. I do think it was a bit better than the first one, and I do think it's one of Danielle Harris's better films in the past few years. She's had the kid recently, so she's kind of taken a back seat in a lot of the projects she's done, which is fine. It's her personal life. I think she's a really cool, good person. But, she does have a lot of clunkers in her filmography as well, unfortunately. And a lot of roles, like, okay, well, why did he take that role, Danielle? Look what they did with you. There's just been a lot of films that oddly just don't utilize her correctly. This movie does, though. She is pretty kick-ass. They immediately establish that she can do so. Danielle actually does sort of train a bit in MMA and boxing, and they kind of put that into her character. Which I liked. So she's physically capable. She's very smart in the movie. So yes, obviously Danielle Harris was good in this. She elevates anything she is in. Maybe one of the last movies we see her with black hair too. I also got to say the actor who played the guy luring him out into the woods, Damien Puckler playing Max, I actually thought it was quite good as well. And then you have Gary Casper playing Gus, a friend of Danielle Harris's family. You know, a bit of a survivalist, bounty hunter type of looking guy. He was likable as well. And I also like their chemistry together. They did feel sort of like old friends, even if some of the lines are a bit forced. But yeah, it wasn't anything great though. Most of it isn't in the woods. They tried to kind of change it up from the first one, which I understand. Most of it ended up being in this bunker, and it was all right. It had a decent sort of a claustrophobic feel to it, I guess. I don't know. For me, it meandered a bit. Yeah, sure, it was a bit more put together than the first movie, but I felt like the first movie was at least a little bit more to the point, even if it went about it a little bit slower. I don't know. It's hard to compare, oddly. The killer in this is still pretty good. He feels dangerous. He feels a bit intimidating. But there still isn't a whole lot about him that, for me, distinguishes him from all the other mass killers we've gotten over the decades. Still a bit unoriginal. And there is a surprise ending to this, which I may talk about in a second, but I'll let you know before I do. And they take like a bit of a sci-fi turn with it. I'm not going to tell you why or what exactly, but they add another element to what's going on, and I get it. They're trying to make it a little bit different, but I don't know if it really worked. But the kills are all right. There's a couple decent ones. There's a particularly satisfying death. So yeah, it's not too bad. I don't think it's anything memorable though. For Danielle Harris' sake though, it's pretty good, and it's kind of what keeps it in the realm of like a 7 out of 10, whereas if she wasn't in it, it'd probably drop to a 6 out of 10. But she is, so I give it like a C, somewhere in there. Let me know you guys thought about it. And yeah, so spoilers starting now. This guy shows up who's running the whole bunker operation type of thing of what's going to be going on in the woods, and he just shoots Danielle Harris's character and Gus dead. So that's that. They make it all the way through there, only to get shot in the head at the end, and then this other weird nurse takes the killer's head, who Danielle Harris just shot the fuck up and decapitated. They take the head, likely they're gonna be able to put them back together, and yeah, that's pretty much where they leave it. Now maybe we'll get a sequel in another few years. I won't lie, I would be curious to see it. I don't know, just to see Danielle Harris get off like that. I mean, at least she got a fight scene with Max, which is pretty decent. Although you could tell it was a bit staged looking, but still pretty good. At least Danielle Harris is utilized better than she has been in a lot of films recently. Besides See No Evil 2. See No Evil 2 is decent. But yeah, so a bit of a meh ending to me. I mean, I'm not really overly crazy about the direction they're going in for the killer, but it is what it is. At least at least they're doing something other than just in the woods again. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.